Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Now, what are your hopes, Henry?
My hopes are that the people who experience this letter are able to take even just like a drop of hope from it during their hard times.
I've seen your letter, and it's absolutely beautiful. How long did it take you to write it?
So the rough draft, it took me probably a day to come up with like the main ideas, and then probably 2 days to like put all that into the actual letter. I actually enjoyed the letter writing experience a lot because I know that I can actually look back on the letter that I wrote because I gave some advice that I know I can use because I still go through problems, and I know that if I'm able to look at the letter and look at the advice, I can implement that into my life and like during hard times, and it'll help me. And that's great.
How incredible would it be if through this letter you made a friend that 50 years from now you were still friends? How would that feel?
Oh, that would be incredible. I mean, I have a few friends that I've known like my whole life, and they're just amazing. And to have somebody go through your whole life with for 50 years, I mean, you'd always have someone to turn to, and during your hard times. And that, I know people don't have that. Some people don't have that, and they need to know that there are people in this world that love them and that want them to succeed.
soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, Jesus. Right, I'm calling everybody, Father Abraham, Isaac, Dorcas, anybody I can think of from the Bible. I'm calling on them. It's that week, y'all. Oh, my goodness, Lord Jesus. I'm a cross between excited so bad I want to pee, and then I get stuck deer in the headlights and everything in between. But that's the bell of purpose, and we're doing everything we do on purpose, with purpose, because you know what? We're here to make some shit different in this world. Can I get an amen? So there it is. I'm home alone. Brian is in Michigan. Lucy and Ethel are driving me absolutely batty. I didn't realize. I'm sorry. Okay, I take it back. Did y'all hear that? So anyway, good Lord. God. When Brian's gone, they're just like, where is he? Why are we stuck here with you? I don't know why they're like that. Anyway, welcome to today's show. We were going to have a rerun, if you remember, but then some stuff happened, and I was like, we need to talk about it. So I took a rerun off, and we have Jason here today, and we're going to talk about this topic. Let me get it pulled up. But before we do, we need your help. I'm going to bring, oh, that's not it. Where is it? Where's our topic? There. Oh, I'm going to run it along the bottom. Navigating a violent and splintered world. And kind of ties into most things nowadays. So, but we're going to talk about some social media stuff and blah, blah, blah. But welcome to everybody. Hi, Lori. Hi, Christopher. I see you guys on the Bathrobe Moments page. I have Mike Suvica here today. He's the me of Power of We, Romania. Because he's there and I'm here. It's a different ball game, you guys, when you do whatever it is you do someplace other than your own backyard. I'm just so incredibly humbled and blessed. It just dawned on me yesterday just how important, well, it's dawned on me, but in a new way. Yesterday, you know, when Brian was leaving, he was like, good luck. He goes, it's the first time you've taken your rock stars further than Atlanta. And again, there my eyes were stuck in the headlines because I was like, yeah, it's one thing to get people to come to Chicago or Atlanta, but to get 11 people to follow you and trust you enough to go all the way around the world. And I just want to say, you guys saw the Henry Haddis letter thing. And in this right here, thank God, I've been carrying it around the house, but now I'm scared because I think I might lay it somewhere and forget where I laid it and then leave. These are the letters. And I'm not kidding you. When you hold them, there's power. There's power. If you could see how the kids decorated their envelopes, some of them made different things and put inside the envelopes. And each, you want to see one? I'll show you one. Then I'll get the guys in here. I'll pull out a handful. They feel reverent, sacred. Look. To my Romanian friend. To my Romanian pen pal. And there are so many. Look, they even like colored on the back and stuff. Don't you just love kids? You know, I think there should be a planet somewhere where kids rule it. That's all. I can't put that on the floor. So anyway, so listen, we're going to get Mike Suvica in and Jason both at the same time because I'm glad they get to meet. I'm going to be speaking at Mike's mother's company while I'm there with Garrett. I'm so excited about that. You know, I've spoken out of the country, but not this far. So I don't know how I'm going to phrase it, but I'm going to make it something. As seen in Romania. So anyway, put your hearts on the screen. It's our virtual way of applauding, of welcoming our guests today so that we can be poured into And it's your shot too. You can pour into us. Put it in the comments. Here they come. Jason Sisneros and Mike Suvica. I'm breathing. Jason, you already know where I'm at every Power Week when it's here.
Yep.
So
when it's in the United States.
Right. Then I have my built-in husband / therapist here. Now I'm by myself all the way until I leave.
You just keep getting stronger every time though. Like this is that like when you very first started this, there's no way like you would be crumbled up in a corner somewhere, right now in the very beginning. But now you're rocking it. You're doing it, you're by yourself. You're on your way to another country. I'm very, very proud of you. You got this.
I hope so.
Ain't no hope.
I know. Yeah. Well, it's just so different. It's so you guys stretch outside of your comfort zones. I mean, it's a challenge, but it's worth it. I'm in the playpen. All of you have heard that. I've been in it for 3 weeks where God put me in a playpen and I sit in there and I'm an adult in there in a giant ass playpen, just watching all of God's creatures just work. And the reason Mike is here, hi, Mike, meet my mentor, one of my best friends in the world, probably the best, Jason Sisneros. He's been a part of Power Week since day one. Matter of fact, that picture we had on the screen was from the very first Power Week symposium. Mike has our banners. That freaked me out when he showed me. I was like, oh my God, there. And you're in that picture back there. Hey, take that one off the top, Mike. Look.
There it is.
You're in Romania.
Yes.
Could we have ever dreamed, Jason?
Yep. You did. You said, I don't know if you remember back to our first couple of conversations, you were like, I envision this to be a worldwide movement. So yeah, it's part of starting out. Like, you hear me preach about this all the time. Hi, Mike. Nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you
too. The work you're doing, and happy to be on here with you, and look forward to meeting you in person someday.
He'll be here. He's coming over to do a one-man. He's a one-man show coming to the States in June. Yes.
Awesome.
So I'm going to make sure you. Yeah, and you and his mother should definitely meet. You're 2 peas in a pod, just female and male, business-wise, definitely.
But going back to what I was saying, Lauren, is that I talk about this all the time. It's the very first thing. If I ever meet somebody for new for the first time, I say, where are you headed? What's your outcome? Right? What is the end game for you? And then you reverse engineer to where you are and you build it out, right? You make it happen. And so, yeah, I can imagine. I'm not surprised. And here it is.
Here it is. We leave on Thursday. Some of the crew has already gone ahead. My little 14-year-old USA ambassador. His parents are so proud of him. Sebastian Arena, they're in London. They took him for his first trip abroad. And then they're popping over. And we have Amy and her crew coming from Mexico. And where's Anya coming from? So, Mike, what's that place?
Constanza.
No, that's our Romanian youth ambassador. Yeah. The lady in Noel, the 10-year-old.
Oh,
someplace.
Yeah,
some other countries, but they're coming
so many
from all
flights
over.
right now.
Yes, and all over the United States. Look what is behind Mike. So you guys know I've been keeping you in the loop. So different. We had 200 comfort cases, backpacks, really cute ones for kids, donated by Comfort Cases. So it was $1,000 just to get them out of hock with the government over there. So taxes.
You got to do some quotation marks when you use taxes and
tell me about it
in foreign countries.
or at least when you say it, spit over your left shoulder or something. You got to do some taxes. So Mike went shopping. Yeah. We couldn't send all the wonderful things that Comfort Cases had them packed. They were like 35 pounds each. It was like thousands and thousands of dollars. So we had
Yeah.
to take the donation empty and then raise the money to buy. That was a fire we didn't know was coming. But Mike did it. We did it. We raised it. Thanks to all of you out there. And there's some of the stuff back there behind it. What do you got there, Mike, that's going in the comfort cases?
So we got so many things. We got, like toys, like slime. We got pretzels. We got notebooks. We got croissants. We got Rubik's Cube, Nerf gun, puzzles, chocolate, more puzzles. We got waffles. We got another type of pretzels and more toys, puzzles. Yeah.
Yes.
So we got a bit of
Mike,
everything.
Mike, make sure you hide the chocolate and the waffles before Lauren gets there, okay? Or give them out before he gets there.
Okay.
You gotta know. Or if it was Mike's, I'd tear it up, eat all of it. But I can't take from those kids. I just cannot do it. And we're so excited. All of the rock stars are each bringing their own item to go in as well. Shaker eggs and coloring books and the Rainas. They're shipping 50 dresses for little girls from London that were each handmade. And it's just, I don't want to say overwhelming, but it's a miracle in real time. But we need help because our comfort cases, we have to pay a tax. We had closed the books. We thought we'd done it. Then this morning we find out what is the cost. We need, what is it?
$798.
$798 that to get our comfort cases from being held hostage. They're there. The stuff to go on them in them is there. We're about to be there, right? Now we have to go just a little bit further. So streaming along the bottom of your screen, you'll see the GoFundMe link. I dropped the invitation into the big ass.
Did Lauren freeze?
Yeah, Lauren froze.
It's our show, Mike. We could talk about Lauren all we want now.
Yeah.
So talk about it from your perspective. How are things coming together, and what's the energy like over there in the country?
Well, everybody is excited, and especially the children, because they know, the event is coming up, and they know it's a special event, because they have quite a few events, but not that many are international, and especially with people coming from America, they don't really have that. So there's a lot of energy in that. Actually, I have a funny story. One of my friends texted me the other night and said, "Are you by any chance doing this event at this place?" And I was like, "Yeah, how'd you find out?" And I was like, "Because they emailed us. They emailed all the old volunteers. They were like, if you want to come and watch what these people from America are coming and doing, we are more than welcome to come and join us." So yeah, there's a buzz going on, and people are starting to hear more and more about it. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, proud of you, proud of the work you're doing over there. It does. I mean, over the years, Lauren and I have just seen this make such a difference in the kids' life. It's it's not about anybody putting it on. It's not about the adults. It's not about what's going on, the conflicts in the world and whatnot. It comes down to these kids, and when they get a little glimmer of what's surrounding me versus somebody coming in and just cracking a light, just a little bit of a light to say, here's what's possible for you. It's world changing, and it's worth all the effort. So extremely proud of all of you guys that are working to put this together.
Thank you. And we're gonna get to our, go ahead, Jason.
No, I'm not. I'm done.
Okay. Before we let Mike go, I just wanted Mike to come in. I wanted you guys to see your work in action. This is the very first time that truly the Power of We Symposium was forced to live up to every syllable of its name, because there were no corporate package donations this year. It was all through the GoFundMe, 100%. And people didn't think it could be done, but we did. And we still have just a little bit further to go. So, all you people of color, y'all know when you've been in church and it was 1:00 and you hungry and they got food downstairs for the potluck and they won't let you leave the sanctuary because they trying to reach a goal. We're going to pass the plate one more time and get our goal. Then we can go eat. 4 hours later, you still sitting there until that last penny is in that plate. That's what we're going to do, because How can it would be more expensive to ship the comfort cases back? And I am not willing to dangle something in front of children, even if they don't know they're getting it yet. And then psych, that happened to me too many times, seriously. So I know we can do it. I'm praying on it. You pray on it. And let's raise this 790. See, thank you. See, I'm
$800.
I'm allergic.
It's $800. Make it easy.
There you go. There you go. $800, and we're done. We're in there. We're in there as we leave Thursday. Mike, thank you.
Before I go, I just want to say two things. Because I visited some of the children, right? And I went to their location, and it's just so beautiful. They made like this little village in the middle of the city. It's amazing. And I told them, and they were like, so what are we going to do? And I was like, how about play dodgeball? And they were like, we're going to play dodgeball like in the movies? Because Romania doesn't do dodgeball. And I was like, yeah, like in the movies. What Americans?
I can't wait.
And I was like, yeah, you're going to play dodgeball like in the movies with Americans. And they also have a little garden, and they plant their own like vegetables. And I was like, and they were like, they asked me if they can offer you vegetables. And I was like, yeah, you can take them out of the ground. We're going to clean them up, and then we're going to try your vegetables right from the ground.
You see what I mean? First thing out of kids' mouths is, how can I serve you? It's just, if I wish there were a planet, ooh, that's a good movie, where kids run the world. Oh my God, what a beautiful movie that would be. So, Mike, I can't wait. Thank you. I could not have done this without you guys, nor would I have wanted to. So I can't wait. I'll see you in 4 days, God willing. And talk to you probably 4,000 times between now and then.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
God bless you, brother. Look forward to meeting you in person.
Same. Have a good one.
Thanks, Mike. Take care. Mike's Suvika, everybody. And he's like the Misfits. His entire tribe is they're known around Romania as the unfortunate thespians, because they all came through something.
Right.
All of them. And it's just, we're just so blessed. We're so blessed. But we're here today. Now we're going to get to the topic. You want to set, the woman that was inside that thread, because I don't want to really just hang on that thread. I just want to talk in generals.
Yeah.
Generalities. But she texted me this morning. I took it as a sign. And because I had thanked her for her courage in there. She says, you don't have to thank me. She didn't mention toxic masculinity and toxic Christianity. I'd never heard the term toxic Christianity. I don't know where I've been. But anyway, we, as I dangled earlier in front of everybody, I let you name this episode. So tell us why. And you guys, don't act like you don't see that GoFundMe thing creeping along the bottom. I don't want to panic, but I want people to understand we can do this. $3 here, $8 there. It happens. We had people, honestly, they got to just say one last thing. The thing that stood out to me the most in the whole GoFundMe thing, the 60-some donors, was the $11, the $3, the $9, the $5. And I was like, what did somebody really sacrifice something? Mm-hmm. They did. They did. And it forces you to be, you're already a great steward, you think, but suddenly you find a way to be even greater, to do even better. And that's how you get served from the smallest places. No wonder Jesus did miracles and parables through the most obscure places and people.
Amen.
For impact. So
amen.
Tell us, navigating a violent and splintered world, because this ties into everything we're all doing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll set the stage with, one of my favorite movies is it's a movie called The Last Castle with Robert Redford and James Gandolfini. And James Gandolfini plays the warden at this military prison, and he and so this general comes in, he's paying a price, he did some stuff, and he's coming in and he wants to impress him. Well, the general is not impressed, right? And kind of embarrasses him. And so now it's like, okay, well, I'm lording something over you, right? Now the warden is like, I'm higher than the general, and the general goes in and wins the respect of his men, and like he does, like a general does.
Yeah.
And in wanting to assert his authority. Now remember that phrase, right? In wanting to assert his authority over a mass of people, right? There's a few warden. There's only one warden. There's a few guards in comparison to a prison's numbers, right?
Mhm.
And so you have to assert authority with fewer numbers over the majority of people. And so in this one scene, he's wanting to make a point to the general that he's in charge and that he controls things. And so down in the yard, there's several basketballs. Everybody's playing basketball, and they're all doing their own thing. But what he does is he blows a whistle, calls down to the yard, and they blow a whistle, take away all the basketballs except for one. And of course, when you take away all the basketballs and you leave only one, that's going to create a fight, right? It's scarcity. It's taking it away.
True.
And so they all fight. And guess what happens, right? The few take the weapons and they shoot a couple of the people and assert dominance over the mass of people, where there's a lot more of them than there are the other people. And he says, his iconic line in there is that he says, see how easy it is to control people, right? See how easy it is to control people. So we've had lots of different opportunities to have this conversation over the period of our friendship. But what we see right now is the result. And this is what I rail against constantly, is just anytime you get the hive mind, right? Anytime you get somebody at the top, and I'm talking mainly about politicians. Let's say that there's 10,000 of them, that are now connected with maybe, a few hundred unethical business owners, and they're kind of running things at the moment, right? And what they do is there's 300 million of us that they need us to stay at each other's throat constantly so that they can continue to do the stuff that they're doing. I mean, you see what's going on in the banking. We just had another bank collapse today, major one, right. Regional, right. being absorbed, right? Being absorbed by JP Morgan, which is one of the big banks, which is in collusion with our government. Why? Because they're trying to push us to a centralized digital currency. So all of this stuff is happening around us, and it can only happen in the dark because we are out here fighting over things that they put in front of us. They're just taking the basketball away and they're saying, okay, here, let's trans, gay, black, gender, all of these things for us to fight over.
Right?
What's that?
You see, I'm literally itching.
Yeah. No, because that's what they want us to. This is what they do. I'm setting the table for us to have this conversation.
Okay,
for us to understand that there is a game afoot, and we are the pawns until we say no, we're not pawns anymore. It's supposed to be we the people. So that now you understand, right? Now you understand why there's a splintered and violent world. Is because we are playing their game. We're falling into the trap every single day with these ridiculous arguments that are happening. So that, and it popped up in a thread where, obviously we're talking about the trans movement and the violence in it, and why is it being all of a sudden very, very popular to shove it down other people's throat. I've never cared. I mean, if a man wants to dress like a woman, or a woman wants to dress like a man, or they want to change their physical part, I've never cared. Nobody really has.
And depending on what channel or what newspaper or what magazine or what circle you're sitting or reading, when absorbing content through, there are multiples of those happening daily.
But listen to this, Lauren. It is the concentration of power in too few hands. All media in this country, about 98% of it is controlled by 4 companies. 4.
Exactly.
And so they're the uniparty. I mean, the media, whether it's Fox News or CNN, it's the same coin.
Okay. And we can't change them.
We can make them irrelevant, and we'll get to that at the end of the show.
We can. But simultaneously, there is work that needs to be done right at home.
Correct.
You see where I pointed?
Yeah, 100%.
To myself.
Yep.
Because that's the only house I got a key to.
Because you are we the people. And so am I. When I point at myself, I am we the people. We have a civic duty to maintain our sovereignty and the sovereignty of our brothers and sisters, regardless of what their beliefs are.
We do. But what I want here's where, okay, so you see where Jason started, right? And so I'm going to tell you where I'm at with it, because this is supposed to be a rerun, because I'm supposed to be walking around the house holding my security thing here. None of this is supposed to be out there. Oh, and by the way, do you like this tuxedo?
That's great.
It's what I'm wearing to your wedding.
Perfect.
It cost $3 at the costume store yesterday, because I was like, I better buy something for his wedding now, because if we don't raise that money.
It's June in South Carolina, right? So it is going to be warm, and I want everybody dressed as comfortably as they can possibly be.
This is made out of felt.
Perfect.
No, I'm layered because, okay, first the robe, then your tuxedo, now power weed, because I'm subliminally donate.
It's only subliminal if you don't say it.
I forgot. Hey, public school, don't let the doctor fool you. So listen, let's hear it. Let's go here about when we see things that are out on social media, because the thing that came to me after we went through the whole thing, because Brian and I were sitting there going, should we even go to Jason and Emily's wedding? We feel different now. Are we safe? Because we heard things come out of people's mouths that we thought we knew. And no matter what their intentions were, it was like a bucket of water over anything that remotely resembled what they were speaking to, which included us. And so I started thinking and doing what you described at the very beginning, is going backwards. Reverse manifesting, reverse engineering, however you need to look at it. It means put your foot in the footsteps that led you to where you're at, to see where they came from. See, we just assume footprints are ours behind us. They're not always ours. Sometimes they are those things that do not serve us wearing our shoes. And that just came out the top of my head. So we're doing something up in here. But for real. And I was like, wait a minute, because suddenly there were a lot of things of value on the table, at risk, however you want to look at it, for us. And so it forced us to go, wait a minute, how can I do better? Which was wonderfully revealing for me. Yeah. It used to be me, fuck them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Blocking this bitch. For real. I mean,
for real. For real.
You already know, right? So, but then I thought about it. Wait, wouldn't that be the very thing that something that does not serve us? Always about division. So today we want to talk about common ground. How to get to that common ground where you can talk about shit without, look what COVID did to families. Vax, not vax. They didn't even go to Christmas for years together. Shit like that. So what do you, here's the thing that I came to.
What's the common ground, right?
I'm going to toss this back.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the fear of AI because AI doesn't have a soul. See, we have souls.
Yeah,
which is what we're here with. That's why we're here. We're all of it is about our soul. When all of this is gone, flesh and blood and all that, it's going to be our souls. So what can we do? How do we get to a better place to respect the words, I think, sacred, revered, divine? If those words don't fit on top of what came out of your mouth, are you sure it should have come out of your mouth? If Jesus was sitting right across from you, if you're one of those believers, would you say that to his face? If your grandmama was sitting across, would you say it to her face? Well, grandmama, if the da-da-da, then I'm just gonna. So how do we do it? Where do we start?
Well, it takes a maturity, right? It takes a maturity and understanding. And this is where leadership comes into play. And that's why I love doing your show. And I love, the position that God has put us in to be leaders is you have to start. It has to start, like you said, in the mirror. And so where do you start these arguments? I never start an argument anymore. Rarely. I won't say never, because you never say, you never say never. Right. But I don't start most arguments, I'll put it that way, out of anger, right? The trigger situation means, and it's been revealed to me over time, that when I'm triggered, that is always about something in me, not in the person that triggered me.
Recently learned that in the last 3 years.
Yeah. And
True.
So where I start, and Emily and I have had this conversation so many times, where I start is from a place of love and a place of joy, right? And a place of positive expectation of the person that I'm interacting with. That I look for the redeeming qualities in the person. Like, I will argue with you, but I'm going to start out knowing, like, you and I have had some knockdown dragouts, like where it's been now I look back on them and they're hilarious, but in the moment we were heated, right? We're heated. But I started those conversations, ended those conversations after I took a few breaths after you hung up on me one time. I was like, you know what?
So we're going back there.
but the point is that place always brought me back to the fact that I know that Lauren Michaels Harris is a good man, right? Is a good person. He's my friend. I love him. I love Brian. I love that. Like, there's a place to start and a place to come back to, because I know that's true.
Oh, that's a good
right. And until behaviors cause a place where it goes, okay, now it's up against my boundaries, right? Any conversation, if it went into, where'd you go? When we get into a conversation and it goes against my boundaries of your behavior. In other words, you're stepping into my home and trying to control my rules, and you're talking about my furniture, and you're talking about my life, and you're starting to rearrange it according to your own behaviors, or vice versa. If I come into your home, into your relationship with Brian, and I start telling you guys what's what, I've crossed a barrier, right? And that barrier is called God's sovereignty on our life. That is the point where we all start. So you can think everything that you want to think, have every conversation. And when we come together for a clash of ideas, it should be to forge a better understanding from at least both of us, and for the people that follow us, listen to us, that we lead, that we come across. This conversation, should go out and populate other people's thinking. And that's where we're short in this world, is thinking. We're really, really long on reacting.
They're perfect. It's like you're reading my mind. No, seriously, because I was just how we all do it. When somebody's talking, like, okay, when he shut up, I know what I'm saying, right? So you're all right, getting a running start. So what I was going to go into next is what Brian said to me when I was in the heat of that thread. He said, honey, just a suggestion, because it's pissing me off too, but let's do this. Let's read it together, put the phone down for at least 10 minutes, go away, think about it, then come back and put it what you have to say. Or you're going to end up sounding just like the people that are pissing you off, because you heard me, I heard you. Stop. Next thing you know, you see what I'm saying?
I do.
Right. So that really helped me to come back having formulated what matters most about what I need to say. Because you got to be careful in there where you're just typing. I mean, I remember one time in an email, the capital thing got stuck on, and I was rushing, and I sent it, and the woman unfriended me.
Why are you yelling at me?
I was yelling. and then screenshot it, the email, and put it on social media.
Right.
Just like that. I was like, what the? So, again, because would you break up with Emily in a text? No. Would you have that life-saving or the birds and bee talk with your child through a text? No.
Not happening.
In other words, the things that matter, which should be everything within reach. It should. So let's talk about what is that thing that, because I'm trying to understand, because everybody got to find their own way. But for me, looking at it like, is this person somebody different than I've always known? Is this person, because GM,
Mm-hmm.
holier than thou comment, which
Mhm.
because I didn't see where it was coming from, because I wasn't pushing what I believe on anyone. I didn't say anything that said you should. I spoke from what I know to be true.
Right.
And I believe in something greater than myself.
Right.
And I spoke to it because I ain't gonna pussyfoot around it, and I'm not
Mhm.
gonna apologize for it. But
Right.
look how it came back.
Mm-hmm.
As if I was saying you were less than. Why do we, in your opinion, take what, if it don't belong to you, leave it alone?
Yeah.
If it don't belong to you, then leave it alone.
Mhm.
But why are you coming back like that unless there's something in there that picked at a scab or something? What is that, in your opinion? What is it? Because that's what started me like.
Well, again, I sort of start out from the perspective that everybody's doing the best they can with what they've got, right? And it's very, very tough. No, I'm going to say impossible. I'm going to say it's impossible for me to jump into your life and understand it fully, right? Because I've got my life, and I'm this, I'm that. Our lives have happened in a different way. And so you can never figure out, you can never reverse engineer somebody's complete experience and say, well, okay, well, you're reacting and that's wrong, because there may have been something traumatic that happened in their life that causes them to slip, right? Or causes them to trip. And we know the people that are around us for the most part. And you cannot legislate morality. You cannot legislate the private thoughts of people's minds, right? And what all you can do is judge them based on their behavior. This is the whole racism, the reverse racism against white people now, and all of the crap that's going on around us, where people are trying to put people in boxes while simultaneously telling the world, do not put me in a box. Right. So we're going, and this is the selfishness, I think, of our day and age, people that haven't had a real challenge to overcome in our generation, that have just gotten so bored that now we're playing the game of the warden and saying, that's my basketball and there's only one basketball. No, there's 7,000 freaking basketballs. All you got to do is get yours and go find your team and your people and go play with them. You know what I mean? And that's your tribe or whatever it is. Right now they've got everybody in so many little boxes that if you disagree with anything, you're all of a sudden a dirty word, a racist, a misogynist, a homophobe, whatever it is, because you disagree with the application of somebody's outcome of their behavior, of what they're trying to do in their own communities, right? It's none of my business until you make it my business. And there's a line, right? A circle around me called my sovereignty. I have a dome of sovereignty just like everybody else. And when they bounce up against each other, there should be rules in place that deal with that, right? But until then, leave me the hell alone. And I'll leave you the hell alone until we intertwine by choice, right? And there's a lot of that going on right now. So I think people are reacting into an environment that is changing faster than it ever has. Instead of being excited about those changes and excited about the possibilities of where we're going, people are in a lot of fear. Tomorrow's not going to be the same as today. It really never has been. Right. But that rate of change is a little bit disconcerting to people.
It's like time-lapse photography in real time.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm excited about it because I know at the end of the day, if I'm a winner in this time zone, I'm going to be a winner in that time zone, right? That's my mindset, is to say, whatever the environment gives me, number one, I'm a survivor. Number two, I'm a thriver. Number three, I'm a servant, right? And so that's how I'm going to show up in any given instance. I will push back against bullies in every facet of the word. In every facet of the word. I don't care if that's coming from Democrat, Republican, gay, straight, lesbian, white, woman, man. It doesn't matter to me. If you're trying to bully people into your way of thinking and force that thought on me, I have a problem. Exactly. Because you're forcing it on other people. Exactly.
And again, everything is a two-way feed.
Right.
But reacting is devoid in most, and I think, in my opinion, all cases, when you react there is usually zero respect involved.
Yep.
When you respond, you can respond out of respect. And I think that is a loosely used term now instead of a principle.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? Because what does it mean if people aren't doing it?
Right.
It's a 0-calorie word.
Mm-hmm.
It means absolutely nothing.
Right. Well, the fundamental, I mean, in that thread, right? And this for everybody that's watching to get caught up to speed, this was a fundamental disagreement about what's going on in the trans world at the moment, and where Lauren and I went, and the fundamental basis of our argument. I'll call it an argument, but it was clarifying our positions, right? Your position was violence solves nothing. My position was violence does solve things. And that's where, like, you and I and a whole bunch of other people entered in with whatever they thought our argument was about. Right? And go ahead.
I will say this because I don't want to forget this point, because I remember just now it happened in real time. Mm-hmm. Here's what happened for me organically. See, I believe it's just like when people say, oh, it was crazy. And I say, no, crazy, wonderful. Don't just leave a word that does not serve you. Mm-hmm. That has more than one meaning, mainly meanings that are derogatory or negative. If you're going to use them, or they're going to use you.
Right.
So when people said violence or what was hanging out there, here's where I went. I questioned. I said, wait a minute. He said violence solves shit. That ain't what he was saying at the Power We when he was telling 250 kids about being broken, the nose being broken 19 times before a certain age. Mm-hmm. That was violence. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't being condoned, but it's a different thing than what was in the thread, but without that extra piece attached to it. It puts into question.
Oh, you froze up. This is always the awkward part where I have to carry the show. But are you back?
Thank Comcast. Yeah. But did you hear what I said, though?
Oh, there you go. No, I lost the end of it. I wanted to make sure.
Those missing pieces.
Yeah.
Like when someone just says, you know what, out of the blue. No, out of the spiritual blue. Mm-hmm. Put something with it that's real. Not so vague, because things that do not serve us parade around nameless.
Right.
Those people.
Well, and that's the point, right? If you really think about the bringing the word conversation, right? That is conversing, right, between two people. That is the point of conversation. Is you have an idea, I have an idea. I retort. And the key thing that usually is missing, especially in social media, is we're not listening. Right. We're not there. I'm sitting here waiting to respond rather than to hear what you're saying and to be able to think it through. There's a new, and it's not so new, but it's new to me, the concept that people have a less than 15 second, right? Less than 15 second ability. Their attention span, right, is 15 seconds, less than 15 seconds. You cannot learn. You cannot be productive. You cannot learn. You cannot change your life. You can't change anybody else's life if you are allowing the world to throw 10,000 golf balls at you a minute and so distract you that you can't think deeply. I think deeply. I shut things off. I read. I write. I think deeply about subjects, and to have conversations with people that don't. It used to anger me, but now it saddens me because there's people that I really love that have gotten caught up in the nonsense of not thinking deeply. To take even an hour, or forget an hour, start with 15 minutes and just think deeply about a subject, because then it allows you and creates in your mind the ability to create nuance. Is that let's take the trans movement, right? In the world tells us that you're either all in or you're all out. You're either a part of it or you are an enemy of it. And there is so much nuance from person to person and how it's supposed to be. Like, it doesn't set you aside. Being trans doesn't mean you get to step outside of the law and be able to force your shit on other people. right? And it doesn't require of people to believe the way that you do. It doesn't, it doesn't set you aside to say people that are raising their children their own way now have to have that right taken away from them because of a populist movement in the moment, right?
None of those things are what I'm talking about.
Okay.
About who's gonna how.
But they're parts of it, is what
about
I'm
how
trying
it
to say.
comes
It's
out
one
of
of the
the kitchen.
basketballs that gets pulled away.
Right. But what I want to know is this: you're a believer.
Yep.
You're a Christian.
Yep.
Whatever a person is, I am too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So therefore, I believe that as the only creatures in this world that speak, according to the story, it gives us dominion over everything other than other creatures who speak.
Right.
Because you don't have dominion over that. It's for a totally different reason. So we're creatures that speak, not creatures that promise and dominion goes with creatures that speak, not with creatures that text. It doesn't carry the same anything, the same spirit of service, the same anything. All the things that matter are left out because it has no soul.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know me, lazy man's approach. Get to the root.
Mm-hmm.
For real. You never hear them say from the tutor to the rooter. They say from the rooter to the tutor, because the root is where it begins. So, how do we learn to speak? Let's break down what we called it: navigating a violent and splintered world. How do we put it back together? I think of wood splintering. So the trunk of the tree of mankind. Let's look at it like that. Violently, well, I didn't think it got splintered through love, because love heals.
Right.
Splintered is breaking apart. Violent is destroying something.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the violence attack destroys something. So it's never about one thing. So what goes in place of violence and what goes in place of splintered?
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. Like if you look at God's creation, right, it's all about creative destruction, right? It's creative destruction. Things they die, right? They become something else. It's creative destruction. And that's the way that I look at it. When business is operating correctly, it's the same exact principle. And so when you say, what do we do to solve it?
Yeah.
It's who are you listening to, right? Who are you listening to? That word toxic, I love that Chris said that, because you said it at the beginning where she's like toxic masculinity, toxic Christianity. There's no such thing. Yeah, there's no such thing. Those things don't exist. You have people that are assholes and people that are not, right? You have people that are that the word toxic is so overused. And when somebody uses it, it means that they are now attacking the character of the person rather than trying to understand them, right? You put them in that box, right? We talk about there's so many boxes to put people in, but don't put me in one. It's a box to put people in, because somebody having a disagreement with you is not toxic. If they want to force their way upon you, force their way of thought on you, that's toxic, right? Yeah, shove it down and you have to believe as I believe. That becomes toxic. And it's always the one that is using the word, that's toxic masculinity, that has the toxic behavior by putting people in boxes. It's a judgment, right? It's a weird dichotomy.
It is a judgment.
Yeah, it's a weird dichotomy that happens. I'm just saying, here's my point of view. Now, how do you solve it? Again, we as a collective of humanity have to look at the fact that we are puppets and sheep to a very, very few right now. If you look at it in the world of business, it's called antitrust, right? The power and the money in too few hands. And that's what we've allowed, because those of us that are busy out here fighting over stupid shit, there's 300 million of us, we have abdicated, in other words, given away or disavowed our civic duty. In other words, our sacrifice that we have to give to keep the collective and to keep our society functioning in a healthy way. and improving constantly because, we're never getting everything right all the time.
Right.
But we have 10,000 people, I would say, in the world right now that are puppeteers of the rest of us, because we refuse to stop and look at each other and go, I love this person. I may disagree with them, but I love them, and we can figure out a way to work together. So I would say in your answer, or in your question of me, what's the first thing is you have to shut out all of the noise of the people that are controlling you. And I don't care who that is. Like on the Republican side, we know who it is. On the Democrat side, we know who it is. Like and you look at the results of all of those things, because I'm a numerical guy. I look at the numbers. I look at, okay, in the black community, it's supported the Democrats for decades and decades and decades. And then you look and you go, oh, boom, where are they financially? Well, they're broke, right? The black community as a whole, right? When you look at the rankings of where they are financially, they're broke. Well, that means that your leaders are not doing a good job of setting up an environment or fighting for the rights of black people to be economically free. Right. And why do you keep voting for them? Right. And then on the Republican side, there's a whole bunch of crap on their side where
And speaking of, that was another thing. And you know why? Mm-hmm. Somebody made a comment in there about me voted for blank, did this, is one of those, and was wrong on every single count.
Because it was an assumption, which makes an ass out of you and me.
Because then I'd have been telling something that ain't it's not their business unless
not their business. So right. It's not their business. And you don't, but because you fit that person's box on the other side, right? It's like, oh, he's black, he's gay, he lives in Chicago. Like, right, of course that fits the model. But you know what? You and I have a relationship and I know better, right? And even if you were, it doesn't really matter to me, because those are just things that you're doing. They're not who you're being. And that's the core understanding, the core fundamental shift has to happen. Stop listening to those people, right? Whether it's Bill Gates or it doesn't matter. You just pick a person that people are like, I'm going to do everything that they say to do. Stop having the fights. They're just taking basketballs away, and we're acting like mindless prisoners.
Right, rats in the maze.
And rats in the maze.
Because I was looking at it like this. What could be working so hard? Why would something be working so hard to divide me from people I know and love? So here's the deal. Just like with your romantic relationships, mm-hmm. When you divorce or break up, if you started as friends and it was true, you should be able to end as that or move on as that, because the truth, the only thing in this universe, y'all, that never changes. It will never change on us. It will always be the truth, just the way it was in that moment it was created. And so, it forced me to start with yourself. Don't go get the log out before you go picking splinters. Mm-hmm. 3 pointing back at me, take your pick. The clues are everywhere. So I say this, no matter what we do, I believe we all have a responsibility of ensuring from every direction, top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, side to side, corner to corner, and corner to corner, how we send our intentions into the world. Because one day it will be the results of everything you've manifested, that when you leave this world to go to whatever is next in what form you take it in, I guarantee you, because I've seen it, when you look to the left, it'll be all that you've created through your intentions that will be staring back at you. I started thinking about that today. What heals and what destroys? Whatever you do, remember to seek balance. Divinity, creation is all about balance. Stay within the promises, and we will get all that we were promised. Jason, final thoughts.
Final thoughts are, again, it's just you have to unplug from the matrix, right? You have to unplug from the matrix. Read everything, from different sides of the equation, have friends and have relationships. I mean, if you want to lead, if you want to make a difference in this world, if you don't, you just want to go along for the ride. Well, you're going to go along for the ride, and you'll be decisions will be made for you instead of you having to make them. Some people like that kind of life. But I'm speaking to the leaders that listen to your show and the people that will come across our voices, many, many days into the future. And to say to become a leader means that you have to be educated. And and in order to be educated, you have to learn. And in order to learn, you have to listen, and you have to put biases and things aside and be able to point them out in yourself if you're going to lead a bunch of other people.
Yes. And I want to say this. You're going to love this. You know what the download I got about what he just described about leaders and the other kind, the sheep or whatever? It was a Life magazine cover of Martin Luther King. It was in black and white. It was red and white across the top. It was all the people locked in the dogs and the hoses. And they told me to find that. I pulled it up on Google. They said, don't look at the people in the front. Look at the faces of the regret on the faces at the back.
Yep.
Because they were the ones standing there just so they could say they were there.
Yep.
But they said, but we'll stay back here until we see what happens to those dummies up front.
Yep.
See? But those are the names that have been ingrained inside the hallways of history. Those up front.
And that's where I'll always be.
What's that?
I said that's where I will always be.
Always right up front, on the front lines. Yes, on the front lines. Thank you, Jason. Thank you. And we're going to do a 90-minute special when I return from Romania to go into this, because we really want to get a group of people so that we can hear it from all directions. We want common ground. Yep. We are in this world as human beings. Mm-hmm. If we destroy it, there won't be any.
Amen.
They'll be known as human duns, because it won't be none. So, and that's not fair to these babies. Okay.
Yep. Well, I'm proud of you, brother, and go forth and go change the world. It's going to be an amazing trip for you and for those kids, and I can't wait to hear of the stories of the changed lives.
Thank you. And tell all your rich friends to help us get that $800.
Yeah, it'll be done. You know it will. It's already done before you ever asked.
Ooh, I received that. Mm-hmm. Y'all, thank you. Listen, this was it. Hoo-wee. When I turn this show off, I'm officially done until I come back, because I'm in the playpen and I want to take my very best into this. And I thank you, Jason, Emily, all the people we were talking about in the thread, and all of you. It truly is the power of we. That's what we got to remember. Take our power back from those places that don't know what they're doing.
Amen.
All right. So thank you. Have a blessed one. We'll see you guys. God bless you. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you.